My name is Steve Smith, this is QA Weekly, and yes, this intro is shorter than before. And today I'm going to be helping you upgrade the amount of Ethernet connections available to your router and explain to you why you might want to do that. So first of all, Ethernet is always going to be faster than wireless because it has full duplex mode, which allows it to actually connect in both directions, simultaneously sending data in both directions, which is why it has 8 wires all in twisted pairs. Now, your wireless connection relies on the number of radios available from the router to be able to connect a certain amount of devices over the wireless spectrum, which also introduces delays such as a latency, crosstalk, interference, things that may degrade the signal in itself, and force packets that have to be sent over and over and over again, which if you're a gamer, really sucks. So things like your smart TV, media player, game console, and even your gaming tower, and if you want, gaming laptop, if you always play in the same place, should literally be just plugged in via an Ethernet cable, which introduces a very specific issue. Why the heck do most consumer routers only have 4 connections? Well, I'm here to actually alleviate some of the problem. They do come with 4 connections because I don't know why. They're not going to tell you why, they just do that. That's all they're expecting you to connect. It's a very old standard that's never been updated whatsoever. However, we do have options. And don't go outside to the store and buy another router because you either have to create a whole new subnet, which is even more complicated for me to answer, and I really don't want to see those questions down below because it's an epic long response, or you can always put them into switch mode, which is why you're wasting your money anyway, and I seriously don't want to see those comments down below because I'm warning you in advance, there's no point buying another router to make it a switch. All you need to do is do like me and buy a switch. They're easier to set up than you believe. It actually took me longer to mount it on the wall, and it will take me longer to explain than it actually takes to turn them on and have them just work. So first of all, these things come in 4, 8, and 16 port models. Your router had 5 connections. 1 for the wide area network, which is technically your internet, and 4 Ethernet LAN connections. If you have a gigabit Ethernet connection available on your router, I seriously suggest that you go with a gigabit Ethernet switch like I did. And this one is a GX D1081 from Asus, and it's capable of 10, 100, and 1000 megabit connections. So gigabit Ethernet switch. So, like I said, your router had 5 connections, 1 dedicated to the internet and 4 dedicated to the internal LAN. Switches don't work this way. They have a, even number of connections, which does introduce a very interesting issue. You can connect 8 devices into this, but if you want the internet, you lose 1 connection to your router, which also loses connection. So, if you need more than 4 devices, let's say 5 or 6, you need a 4-port model. If you're expecting to connect up to 10, you need something like this, an 8-port model, because this will give you 7 additional connections as well as the 3 that will still be available on your router itself. And if you need more than 10 and you don't expect to go beyond 18, then a 16-port model of this is going to be your best bet. Now, for those wondering about how to set this up, it is not complicated. You plug it in, you plug in all the connections that you want, plug it into your router, and your router will do the rest. Because routers are capable of addressing up to 255 different connections, which means the math I gave you only applies to 1 switch. For each other switch that you want to introduce into the network, you lose another connection on your router, but you gain another set amount of connections based on whatever switch you use, and your router will control them all, and Windows, Linux, and Mac, or any other operating system you work with, will see it as being all the same network. So you have nothing else beyond that to do. So that essentially upgrades your network, gives you more connections, reduces latency, reduces the amount of ping that you get from gaming, and of course, costs less than buying a brand new router just to create a super complicated subnet or turning into a switch for no reason whatsoever. Please don't put those down below because I am warning you in advance, there's no point. Just buy a switch. The switch I bought is roughly $45 at the time that I purchased it. So if you really want a solution that best benefits you, that is the way to do it. And this will make your gaming so much easier than going over wireless. So don't forget to subscribe to this show. Don't forget that you can also email me at ask@tqaweekly.com. Go to my website, tqaweekly.com, where you can go to the contact section to email me directly. Go to the subscribe page to find alternate ways of subscribing to my show. You can actually interact with others on my website by commenting to this episode. This one's going to be at tqaweekly.com/SE5EP34. And of course, go to the support us page where you can support my show. And very soon I'll have a Patreon so that any of you that want to help me out on a weekly basis can do so. And of course, thank you for watching and have a great